most people that think they are rebelling against the system, going against the grain, not part of the establishment and their way of thinking, simply are doing what the system wants them to do. But if you were to bring this to their attention, they would explain to you that they are free thinkers. But what is the system? That's the question. The system is full of established institutions, the media corporations, the music corporations, government, which is now run by the left. Also, big tech. If you regurgitate the same talking points as ABC, NBC, then you are not a free thinker. You are repeating exactly what the system is telling you. What was considered rebelling against the system back in the 1950s is not the same as today because of the cultural shift. Back in the 50s, 60s, 70s, even in the 80s, having tattoos, which I have no issue with. That's your body, that's your prerogative. You do as you wish. But it doesn't make you a free thinker. It doesn't make you enlightened. Everyone that has a tattoo tends to think that it gives them some sort of credence or enlightenment. Again, you do what you want to do. Having tattoos, listening to loud rap music. Back in the 80s, it was more or less loud rock music, was considered going against the grain. In the 50s, it was considered insanity. Listening to loud music, blah, blah, blah. But what was considered mainstream in the 50s, wearing a suit, yes, so, no, sir, having a big vocabulary, educating yourself on certain issues, being a man, being less emotional as a man, and being more pragmatic, more introspective, is now rebelling against the system. Think about it. The most popular artists today are rap artists, which speak in dumb vocabularies. Speaking in that tone of voice is normal. Most people, you say, what's going on? They say, yo, dog, not much, bro, just chilling. Or they say, yo. They think they're cool doing it. Again, you say what you want to say. That's your prerogative. That's your way to go. But you're not a rebel for talking like that. Here's the thing you got to understand. The elites who own these institutions, they want you stupid. One of the ways to make you stupid is to make stupidity in the mainstream. Being dumb, not understanding how the monetary system works, not understanding how anything works is considered cool. Actually, educating yourself about history, the political system, and other things is considered fringe. The definition of rebel as a verb is to rise in opposition or armed resistance to an established government or ruler or institution. So to rebel, by definition, you have to rise in opposition to an established institution. Established as a verb is having been in existence for a long time and therefore recognized and genuinely accepted. Generally, not genuinely, accepted. So if you're not opposing, I oppose violence of all sorts. I'm talking about in the mind, the information war we are now in. If your thoughts do not go against Comcast, Disney, AT&T, you by definition are not rebelling against the system. Let's go over some numbers here. Comcast, which owns NBC, is worth $234 billion. Disney, which owns ABC and ESPN, you notice ESPN is getting more political. I don't watch it anymore unless there's a game on. It's awful. Back in the day, it had some good stuff on there. Disney is worth $329 billion. National Amusements, which owns CBS, is worth $10 billion. AT&T is worth $206 billion. These are established institutions. Alphabet Inc., which owns Google and YouTube, is worth $1.42 trillion. Facebook is worth $763 billion. Twitter is worth $45 billion. Facebook and Twitter together are worth over $1 trillion. They are silencing voices they disagree with. If you support that, you are supporting these large companies. You're not a rebel. You're not going against the system. You're not going against the grain. You're not a free thinker. You're not an intellectual. You're not intelligent. Comcast, CNN, they are for Biden. Biden is for socialism. If you're for socialism, you also regurgitate what you hear in college. In America, you have the freedom to express any ideology or belief you want. I'm very tolerant of other opinions. But the point is, people think, oh, I'm for Bernie. I'm a free thinker. Trump is a racist. Trump is sexist. He's the worst president ever. But let me educate you on something. We've had past presidents that have done far more heinous things in office. Abraham Lincoln suspended habeas corpus, which is right to a trial. Abraham Lincoln blockaded parts of the South. Abraham Lincoln also signed the Sedition Act. He locked people up for speaking out against the war effort, and he went after journalists. FDR, who is considered a hero of the left, a progressive, put Japanese citizens who were innocent, without a trial, even little children, into internment camps in the United States. John Adams signed the Sedition Acts. He went against people who spoke ill of the president. Woodrow Wilson did the same thing. The point I'm making is Trump never did that. But you see, if you don't read history, if you're not really intelligent, you speak on stuff you don't know anything about. You say things like, no other president has done this or that. All of the sins Trump has committed as president have been committed by past presidents. Every president has pardoned people politically. Bill Clinton pardoned Mark Rich, who in turn gave money to the Clinton Foundation, who built the library, the presidential library for the Clintons. But the media is like, oh, Trump is pardoning all these people. And if you look at the amount of people he pardoned, it was actually far less than most presidents. But idiots who don't know anything, who think they're free thinkers, just regurgitate Comcast, a $234 billion company. That's the point I'm trying to make. You think you're a rebel, you think you're going against the system. The other thing that these people do is that they say other statements they know nothing about. An example would be, there is this person I work with. She's a nice person. We disagree, but she's nice. I got nothing against her personally. She just talks a lot on stuff she knows nothing about. It's not my job to correct her. I'm there to get a paycheck and go home. The other day, she asked me how I was doing. I said, doing pretty good. Yourself? Just your typical greeting, whatever. She responded, working like every day. Capitalism, working for the white man. I just kind of laughed. But technically, if you look at the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, the people with the highest income are Indians and East Asians. They actually make more income per capita than the white man does. Most business owners are Indians, which I don't have an issue with. But you see, Everything on the left is about race, critical race theory. It's not about what you actually do. It's not about the content of your character, as the great Reverend King said, but it's about the color of your skin. That's what liberals are doing. They're literally making things about the color of your skin and not the content of your character, while claiming that they're upholding the legacy of Dr. King. It's hypocrisy at its finest moment. But if you want to make it about race, Indians and East Asians, Nigerians, people who come from Africa, they make more money on average per capita than the white man does. Caucasian Jews. If you look at the rankings of the wealthiest people, white men are about fourth or fifth. Also in colleges, who is the most in college right now? Right now, you have more women in college than men. I'm not trying to diss anybody. I'm not trying to say people are bad people. It's just you speak on these topics you know nothing about. Just because you listen to Comcast or you listen to Disney or you listen to some rap artist like Cardi B who thinks she's a badass while she's just part of the system. She is promoting degeneracy. The system wants you dumb and they want you dependent upon them. If you're dumb, think about this. If you're dumb, you're only going to rely on one income. You're not going to learn about bonds, stocks, index funds, things like that. You're going to be dependent upon the system. When somebody feeds you, you are dependent upon them. If they don't feel like feeding you that day, what happens? You're going to starve. That's what the system wants. They want you to depend on them. Then they want to starve you out until you capitulate to what it is that they want. If you're degenerate, if you're stupid, if you don't know basic English, you don't know history, then you're more likely to rely on the system. It's so funny, these millennials, I'm a free thinker. I love Bernie. Trump is a racist. Yo, dog, I'm so cool, bro. I'm a gangster, man. It's just so funny. And it's not about race, it's everybody's like this now. I think Old Town Road was very emblematic of how the system's going. I live in an area that is in the South, it's sort of a country area. I've noticed that country and rap are sort of submerging together into a new genre of music, kind of like Old Town Road, which I think really describes sort of the cultural shift. You have the mainstream redneck culture merging with the rap culture. And it's creating this weird hybrid type of culture where you're, yo, dog, I'm going to be working on my tractor, man, after I pop a blunt up in here, man. I can't even talk that way. It's just weird how this is transpiring. But it's okay because I'm just a privileged white male who wants to learn about money, who wants to learn about history, psychology. You're a badass. You're a gangster. You're cool because you keep regurgitating AT&T. You're just such a badass. Keep regurgitating CNN.